Now, good afternoon, everybody. I think it's not hard to recognize that I am not Richard Boyce. Unfortunately, Richard has been taken ill, so I'm Katrina Lowes from Vodafone Business. And it's my great pleasure to welcome Vinod Kumar, CEO of Vodafone Business. Give him a round of applause, everybody. Welcome, Vinod.
Hello, everyone.
Now, we're coming to the end of what's been a really exciting couple of days here. I've been learning lots. I've been meeting startups and scale-ups. I've listened to some of the Fit for Start pitches, and there's some amazing ideas and capabilities out there. So I think this is the perfect time to be talking about small and medium enterprises and the role that they play in Europe. Now, according to Statista, there are over 23 million small and medium enterprises in the EU, and they employ around 84 million people today. And the European Commission says that SMEs represent 99% of all businesses in the European Union. Now, in the last 5 years alone, they've been responsible for creating 85% of new jobs. And today, they're employing 2/3 of the total private sector in Europe. So small and medium enterprises are not small, and they're not to be overlooked. And I think it's fair to say they're the backbone of the European economy. Now, at Vodafone, we know that connectivity is really important to keep businesses connected, but we want to talk about going beyond connectivity. So Vinod, can you give us an idea of how we're helping SMEs move beyond connectivity and what those benefits are?
Okay, firstly, apologies that I'm not there in person, and this is the last session of the day, so let's try and finish with a bang. When we think of SMEs, I think it is important to look from their perspective and to understand that even for SMEs, not just large businesses, technology is becoming a truly important strategic asset, right? And it's also very clear based on all the research that we've done that there's a difference between businesses that embrace digital transformation and those that don't. Our data shows overwhelmingly that those not embracing digital transformation are being left behind, especially on the most important aspect for them, which is about acquiring customers and growing their business. Also, the definition of what these technologies are is really expanded, which is why we keep talking about beyond connectivity. And there's a broad range of technologies that businesses, the SMEs, need to avail of and leverage, from social media to IoT to AI and to blockchain and so on. Technology, clearly, for this community, you'll understand, is evolving every single day and is becoming important for the operations of a modern business. And I'd like to say it's important for the operation of a modern SME. However, at the same time, if you're a small business owner who doesn't have a big IT department, it is a real challenge to keep up with all this technology, and more importantly, to understand which ones to pick in order to make sure that your business benefits from it. In a recent study in the UK that was commissioned by Vodafone UK, 73% of SMEs indicated that they had at least one issue that they faced related to the implementation of new technologies. So buying the technology is not quite often the problem. It is how to use it effectively. And for us, really, it's about not technology being an end in itself, but being a means to an end, which is about driving efficiency across the business. And COVID kind of pointed us here, and as the companies were rushing to embrace different technologies, we set up VHub, which is our free advisory service where SMEs across Europe, regardless of whether they're a Vodafone customer or not, can get help and advice on what I say, all things digital. Everything from how do you leverage social media to sell more, to how do I do better digital marketing, how to keep your business secure, how to leverage the latest IoT solution. And of course, if they want help on which connectivity plan to choose, we'll help them with that too. Through the contacts that we're having with more than 4 million unique visitors to VHub, we've learned that security is now cited as a top concern for business of all sizes. But equally, we know, it's self-evident, but also our research shows that smaller businesses cannot have dedicated staff, especially those who have technical knowledge in the area of security, right? Therefore, we partnered with Accenture to develop a set of solutions that fight cybercrime specifically for the SME segment. From everything that we've seen in the market, and we've been in the market now in several countries for nearly 3 quarters now. We don't see anybody else in Europe that is taking such a systematic approach to solving the cybersecurity needs, especially in the SME space. Their needs are different from the larger customers and clearly different from the large multinationals and the public sector. But the frightening thing is, SMEs are 15 times more likely to suffer a cyber attack than a fire or a theft. But every SME you think will be thinking about physical security and not thinking enough about cyber security. And this is something that we are addressing through education, but also making it more approachable. We've also built a platform called Cyber Hub, which is a comprehensive dashboard, scorecard, place to get help, buy services, and so on for our entire security portfolio of SME customers. It really is an innovative platform, super friendly in terms of the user, the design, the customer journeys, and so on, that they can rate themselves in terms of their cybersecurity posture, compare it with how other peers are in the industry or similar size of business, and can also, look at the performance of various services that they buy from us, and then add services and so on. But the most compelling thing about Cyber Hub, Katrina, is that the fact that they can actually speak to a cybersecurity expert as and when they need help in order to make sure that they get a very sophisticated level of knowledge that they won't be able to afford themselves, and they get it from Vodafone, and they get it through Cyber Hub. Right, we understand that no two SMEs are the same, and I think this is the part that the advisor plays. It's not just shoving standard content down their throat. It's about understanding their needs and then giving them the best technology, the best solution, and also the best advice so that they place the required level of importance to cybersecurity, but at the same time help their business grow.
So thank you for that, Vinod. You mentioned partnering with Accenture in the Cyber Hub. Now, two big organizations coming together kind of makes sense. But what about Vodafone working with startups and scale-ups? I'm familiar with Digital Barriers, a Tomorrow Street company that's here today. And I know we've created products and services together. Can you give me some examples of some of the other startups that we're working with?
Yeah, I feel it's important for a player like Vodafone to work with both large businesses like Accenture, Deloitte, so on and so forth, but also with the smaller startups who have cutting-edge technology. They bring us new technology. They also bring agility, which benefits our speed to market, and also introduce new commercial models and so on. So I'm a big fan of working with startups, both in the Tomorrow Street community as well as beyond. Digital Barriers has been a great example of how that kind of partnership can work to the benefit of both. Digital Barriers, I wouldn't call them a startup anymore. I'd say they're a nicely scaling company, but with many others. I'll give you a couple of examples. In Spain, we're working with a startup called Billin, which is a free access billing program aimed at SMEs, right? Great example of something that's important for SMEs, but also working with a company that's creating something unique and for the segment that we are very important, it's very passionate about championing. And then for customers that require more than just billing services, we're working with another young company called Holdit, which integrates billing, CRM, and insurance services all into one convenient package. So we'll keep working with, as I said, the Tomorrow Street companies, but also startups and scale-ups in Europe and beyond, because what we want to bring is the best of technology to the SMEs that we serve. And we're really passionate about pushing the boundaries of innovation with these startups while delivering business outcomes to the SMEs.
And I've had the chance to spend some time with some of the Tomorrow Street companies, and as I say, I've watched some of the pictures, and there are some exciting organizations coming through, so there's a lot for us to evaluate there. But now I'd like to turn to an industry that really depends on small and medium enterprises, and that's agriculture. I know many people are worried about food security, and the political instability in the world is a big cause of that. And I think it's staggering that nearly 20% of all greenhouse emissions are caused by agriculture, forestry, or land use. 20% of greenhouse emissions. Now, I know that we believe that digital technologies can really help this sector streamline. Can you tell us a little bit more about what we're doing to help that happen?
Yeah, I'll come to that, but I'll also say that, I have two big passions in Vodafone in my job. One is driving our SME program and really offering them excellent advice and helping them transform themselves through digital technologies. The second one is about promoting ag tech for farmers across Europe and Africa. And the second one, I haven't quite figured out why I'm so interested in it, other than the technology is cool, but also I have some, family connections to farming, but I'm definitely not a gardener or a farmer myself. But the way we should be also, and these two circles actually intersect in a way. We need to keep in mind that many farmers, the ones especially that we care about a lot, are actually SMEs. Right? They're small, mid-sized businesses, very often family-owned or working in a cooperative, and they need the right tools and technology to help transform their businesses. Over the last few years, the kind of technology that has been adapted and even customized for use in this sector has really been quite incredible, and we would like to help them avail of these technologies. We've also done, over the last a couple of years, research to better understand the farmers' needs for technology. We can't just assume things from the outside. And the culmination of that is a big piece of work that we did recently, and we'll be announcing the findings very soon. In fact, in the next couple of days, I was signing off on a press release related to that just a short while ago, just a few hours ago. But there are a few things that I'd like to share with you today. One of the key things, and not surprisingly, is that climate change is really on top of the list of threats that farmers have in mind across Europe and Africa, right? The other one is they are being impacted by fuel and energy costs. This is also really top of their mind, just like it is for all of us, but in their case, probably even closer to home because it affects their life as well as their output, and their income and so on. What is also interesting as we deal with this community is that they are actually quite keen and willing to invest in digital tools that help them combat climate change. But one of the things they all ask for is we need training on how to use the tools. Very similar to what we find with SMEs. They want to buy the technology, they often make the decision, and then they're like, okay, what do we do with this? How do we actually get the most out of these tools? And we need help because we're not self-sufficient in terms of expertise. So it's really important for us as technology providers, alongside government, to make sure that we're providing the technology, but also the right training and the right adoption support to make sure that the impact of these tools is felt initially for these businesses to survive because they are under pressure, but really it's about helping them thrive. One example of this is we have a platform called My Farm Web, built out of one of the Vodafone subsidiaries, Mezzanine, that does some great work in multiple spaces, but especially in this ag tech space, and where we offer farmers an interactive cloud-based platform that enables farmers to store the data, visualize the data, and view information that is all gathered through the agriculture Internet of Things sensors, right? So the IoT sensors that are out in the fields collect various types of data that then can be translated into actionable insights through the My Farm Web platform. It's a really, really cool platform that will help farmers it helps farmers make better decisions, taking soil input, climate data, and so on, and also looking at what is the best set of combination of factors that will give the best crop health, and at the same time minimize the use of minimize the consumption of inputs from water to fertilizer, pesticide, and so on. All of which is necessary, but if you can make that precise and also, just the right level, you're getting much better crop output without damaging the environment. So the productivity impact is really what the farmer is interested in, and this then translates to reduced greenhouse gases. So My Farm Web is actually used already quite a bit in Africa. Now we have farms in Europe beginning to test it and pilot the technology. I'm very confident that the benefits of My Farm Web will be felt through these pilots that we're running in Europe, and then we will deploy this widely across large farms and mid-sized farms throughout Europe. My words don't do enough justice. I'd like to just share a short video of one of the farmers in Europe who's using My Farm Web to improve the operations in their farm. And let's watch the video now.
My name is Seamus Amani. I'm Head of Commercial at Dairygold Agribusiness. Our members are facing many challenges at the current time, not least the climate change agenda. Our co-op has made a commitment to reduce the carbon footprint of our milk supply chain by 40% by 2030. This is a highly ambitious goal, but I am confident that we are going to achieve this with our highly trained technical teams and their advice, plus the emerging technologies of IoT, digital sensors, predictive analytics, automation, and we're very excited about what the next couple of years are going to bring us.
My name is Sean O'Sullivan. I'm a dairy farmer in Douglas, County Cork. I try to use technology where possible. I find it beneficial in both saving time, which is the main one, and trying to be more efficient. I have 2 tractors at the moment, and one has auto steer in it, so that patterns out your fields, divides it into grids, works out all your measurements automatically for you. So there's very efficient use of time, diesel and product. In the milking parlour, I use feed to yield, a reward system for the cows, so basically the more they give me, the more they get. So it also tailors the feed to the cows that are not producing as much on the day, so they get less, which of course saves me money in the long term and more efficient feeding. The microclimate weather station would benefit me in advanced knowledge, considering the fact that the weather station will be on an outside farm. So therefore I'd be able to check the app, make sure everything is correct before I travel, i.e. wind velocity, soil temperatures. Knowing that information going forward would always get my grass production correct, which would benefit yields, benefit the cow. All these things are interlinked.
We're excited to be working with Vodafone on this My Farm Web project. It offers the opportunity to capture on-farm data in real time and deliver insights. This will, help save time and deliver better farming practices, which will ensure sustainable and profitable farm production.
Well, what an inspiring story. And as a woman that can't keep a houseplant alive, to think that technology is helping farmers like the ones we've just seen face some of the most difficult challenges they've ever had to face gets me out of bed in the morning. And I think what a wonderful way to wind up these amazing 2 days. I know we're about to hear now the results of the Fit for Start competition, so some more amazing startups that should be making their mark in the world. So I think at this point, Vinod, it's just a thank you for joining us. So if everybody would like to give Vinod a warm hand, and thank you for being with us.
Thank you, my pleasure. Bye-bye.